The key to solving 9/11 is to understand what's known as video compositing. Video compositing means taking two or more video images and putting them together so that they look like one. With today's technology, you must always remember, objects that look like they're in the shot may have actually been inserted. The 9/11 airplane videos are video composites. We know this because of the cartoon physics and from a few mistakes that are found in them. More on the mistakes in a moment. Here are the basics of how compositing works. Compositing is done by arranging video elements in a stack of layers. Some part of the top layer is made transparent, revealing the next layer underneath. Beginning with a stock 3D model of a Boeing 767, the plane is rotated so that it banks left. It's color corrected, motion blurred, scaled down, and animated. The rest of the layer is transparent, so it appears to fly in front of the tower. To make it appear to fly behind the tower requires some masking. The key to this trick, and the key to solving 9/11, is something called a key. In video, a key is an effect that makes part of a video transparent based on some property, like color or brightness. The tower video is copied into two separate layers. The sky is made transparent on the top layer with luminance key. Anything brighter than the adjustable threshold disappears. Notice that when the two layers are back together, it looks identical to the original. Remember, it's actually two layers stacked up. To complete the illusion, the airplane layer is sandwiched in between the other two. Presto! If the airplane goes too far, oops, it looks like it comes out the back side. To prevent this from happening, a mask can be drawn on the airplane layer. The south tower is in the center of the frame. The left half of the screen is masked off. The airplane goes in, and we never see it again. Under certain conditions, faking an airplane on live TV is pretty easy. Under other conditions, it's impossible. Only 3 9/11 airplane videos are confirmed to have been shown live: ABC Chopper 7, Fox Chopper 5, and WPIX. None of them actually shows an airplane hitting anything. With today's technology, making a live, real-time shot look like the CNN Hezarkhani shot would be impossible. But remember, the first time this was shown was many hours after the event. It just so happens that all of the live airplane videos were taken with the shady side of the tower next to a very bright sky. This makes pulling a key very easy. In a different shot, keying could be impossible. It just so happens that the live airplane videos have a steady camera with no panning or tilting or zooming in. If any of this camera motion had occurred while the airplane was on screen, compositing would have been impossible. It just so happens that the live shots share a remarkable list of compositional characteristics that make live video compositing possible. Absent any one of these, inserting a fake airplane live in real time becomes impossible. What are the odds that this occurred by chance? The WPIX and Chopper 7 shots seem to have been put together nicely. The same cannot be said for Chopper 5.
As you look at the picture from our chopper now arriving at the scene.
What is he talking about, arriving at the scene? The chopper is over the Hackensack River in New Jersey, 5 miles away. Why are they not headed toward what is already the news story of the year? Wait a minute, is something missing here? With the camera zoomed in, now it looks like the chopper is arriving at the scene. Seems that we weren't supposed to see that wide shot, and that's because there's no plane in it. By adjusting the scale and position of every video frame, matching the speed of the airplane and working backwards, we can determine where the plane should be earlier. The plane should be visible for over 5 seconds. That's 340 separate images, and there is no plane. In April 2008, I appeared with video compositing expert Steve Wright on the Hardfire television show hosted by Ron Wick.
I'm Ronald Wick.
And 2 weeks later, I interviewed him at his house.
Hello, Ace. Good to see you again.
Let's get the official story.
There is no official story.
And when I zoom out, I'm playing the video backwards. You can watch that helicopter just completely disappear off the screen. My explanation is the plane simply melted into the lack of resolution of the video system.
Of course, any object can disappear on video if it becomes small enough. The helicopter is far smaller than a big Boeing. It's a poor comparison. The question is whether a passenger jet disappears at 5 miles. To find out, I went and shot an airplane video under similar conditions, in the morning, with an airplane silhouette against a very bright sky. This was taken zoomed out from 6 miles away, a mile further than the Chopper 5 shot. I cut the horizontal resolution in half to simulate the quality of a VHS tape. The plane is small and blurry, but it appears in every single frame. Steve Wright offers no evidence to support his claim that the airplane would be too small to see.
Hey, this is Kai Simonson.
The camera op on board Chopper 5 was WNYW reporter Kai Simonson.
Well, I knew that the plane was coming in because the pilot told me. Well, the pilot said that the guy was flying really low, and he was heading for the tower.
The obvious thing then would be to point the camera at the airplane and follow it. Instead, Simonson zooms, and zooms, framing a shot of the towers. The airplane image enters the picture within one video frame. That's 1/30th of a second. What are the odds of that? By the way, Kai Simonson is not just a reporter for Fox 5. He also specializes in video compositing. In 2001, he was advertising his services of green screen compositing, helicopter videography, and an Avid system. Exactly the system needed to insert an airplane in real time. What are the odds of that? In any case, check out what happens next. The nose of the airplane appears to pop out the backside of the tower, Exactly the problem that could occur with live compositing. I offered Mr. Wright this multiple choice. 3 of them are the nose of the airplane before it goes into the building. 3 are the nose coming out of the building. Which are which? So how does an engine or a landing gear or dust or anything else become a size and a shape that's indistinguishable from an airplane nose? And not just any airplane nose, but a 767 nose, the very airplane that appears to go into the other side of the tower.
I think that the jet flying behind the building cannot be a composite. And the apparent nose sticking out cannot be the nose of a jet. Okay, it's a piece of debris. The fact that it has a similar shape is not important. The key is it's at the wrong time. The computer is moving my red outline along at a very constant, mathematically perfect velocity. It follows the airplane, and then the tracker moves to the other side of the tower, and look what happens. A real airplane, the nose would have popped out right here.
It is true that the airplane image slows down inside the tower. But of course, animated airplanes can be made to slow down, speed up, or do whatever. Mr. Wright's own instructional video from his seminar begins with,
Bang! Instant composite.
of all things, a jet airplane.
Here is the motion curve for our horizontal move. And we'll play that back now. Zoom. There it slows down. Comes in quick, slows down at the end of the shot. Comes in quick, slows down at the end of the shot.
Why would the compositrators make the airplane come in quick and slow down at the end of the shot? To make it more believable. A real plane could not fly through steel and concrete as fast as it flies through air. But wouldn't Kai Simonson have thought to mask off the left half of the screen? Of course he would. The shot was designed to have the south tower right in the middle. A mask on the airplane layer prevents it from ever escaping the back of the tower. The plane would begin to disappear behind the edge of the tower, and the tail would slow down somewhat, and we would imagine that that was because the nose and wings had impacted the wall. But helicopters cannot hold still, they drift. We've already seen that Chopper 5 was late getting into position. The shot begins okay, but the camera drifts far enough so that the back edge of the tower is now outside the mask area. Simonson must have realized his mistake and quickly faded the picture down to black. When picture fades back up, all trace of the nose is gone. But it was too late. We saw Pinocchio's nose.
Watch how the aircraft penetrates the building. Completely in one side and out the other.
Just to be sure, there it is. There it is. The plane went right through the other tower of the World Trade Center.
It's physically impossible for the nose of a Boeing 767 airplane to emerge intact.
Well, how do you know that that's impossible?
It's hollow, made of plastic, and not designed to withstand any sort of collision.
That nose cone there is made of plastic, and it's very easily indented. They think that a bird hit that nose cone, which again is made of plastic. It's hollow inside.
It would have had to go through 2 sets of steel box columns.
It's obviously possible because it happened. You know, whether or not it can be sufficiently explained is another issue. There's a lot of things in life that can't be, fully explained. I mean, how many times have you seen a plane crash into the side of a building?
The no-plane wide shot and the nose-out mistakes in Chopper 5 thrust the compositors, the compositrators, into damage control mode.
Oh my goodness.
Oh God.
A replay of Chopper 5 was attempted on CNN just a few minutes after the fact. But notice how everything is covered up by huge logo graphics.
Crash into the other tower of the World Trade Center. And again, let's just to be sure, there it is. There it is. The plane went right through.
Pinocchio's nose had to be explained away with new videos. Here's Gamma Press, shot from the opposite side, the east side, in the morning sunlight. The object is the size and shape of a 767 fuselage, like the Chopper 5 image, and it appears highly reflective, like it's made of metal. But then, a very bright flame gobbles it up in less than 1 second, and it disappears. Clearly impossible behavior for any sort of metal airplane part. Later, it was discovered that there was no exit wound. There are 0 broken columns in this area. Any sort of solid object is ruled out. Enter the dust explosion. This is footage shot by the Naudet brothers. It doesn't show any metallic cylinder, and it looks nothing like the fuselage of an airplane. They've made it a dust explosion. And the 1 second that would show the fate of Pinocchio's nose has been edited out. Why would the Naudet brothers remove that little piece of video? I've inserted black to hold the missing time in the Naudet shot and synchronized it with Chopper 5 and also the CNN live shot, which was airing a feed of ABC Chopper 7. All 3 of these videos have blackouts or missing time within a 1/4 second of each other, and it's the same time that would show the fate of Pinocchio's nose. What are the odds that this occurred by chance? The Chopper 5 fade to black cannot be any sort of signal interruption. Signal interruptions happen all the time from news choppers, but they look like this if they're analog, and they pixelate and freeze if they're digital. In video, black is a picture. Video sync in Chopper 5 is never lost. Mr. Wright tried to explain away the fade to black this way.
All of these cameras have a little circuit called automatic gain control. What those circuits do is they detect the amount of light that's coming into the camera. And if the light gets too bright, it knocks the iris down to darken the picture to restore a more normal exposure. So here's what happened in this shot. We're single-stepping the plane out of the building. Okay. Then the explosion starts. A fireball starts to show, and right about here, the automatic gain control sees this fireball. And just like a human being who closes his eyes and ducks away from a bright light, the camera is starting to iris down the picture in response to this flare of fire. So it goes down in 2 frames. It holds it for 14. And then the automatic gain control circuitry starts to recover and puts the picture back where it was.
All video cameras, even consumer models, have the automatic gain control, but they never make a camera go to black. Here, I'm pointing a camera at the sun, and it doesn't go black. News cameras record flames and explosions all the time, including on 9/11. Kai Simonson offered this explanation for the fade to black.
I don't know if it didn't fade to black. What happened was I put the 2x extender in, which actually doubles the strength of the lens. I was made aware that the plane was getting close to the building, so I zoomed in closer to get a closer shot with the 2x extender, and that's what you're seeing. You're seeing the actual 2x extender flip into the lens, and it actually, slides into place. So there's a moment where it actually goes black because you're seeing the edge of the extender past over the focal plane.
It's nice to get an explanation from the guy who shot the footage, but he's lying. Engaging a 2x lens extender will not make the entire picture go black at the same time, but it will make everything twice as big. That's what 2x means. We certainly don't see that.
I'm saying it's impossible to do this keying for this project in real time.
Wow, that's quite a claim. Mr. Wright is not just saying the 9/11 airplane videos were not composited, he's saying they could not have been. One of his reasons has to do with edges.
This would have to be a luma key, okay, where you're pulling a key based on the brightness difference between the sky and the tower. A luma key is a very poor quality matte. You get jagged edges.
All compositing software have luma key and a feature called edge feathering, where the edges of the luma key matte can be made as soft as desired. Steve Wright must know this. He literally wrote the book. In fact, on page 14 of his book, Wright explains. Why would Steve Wright try to convince us that video composites must have harsh edges? And it gets deeper.
The raster lines that make up this jet match perfectly with the raster lines of the original, what we're calling the live action video. Okay? These lines, the interlace lines here. Okay. If this jet was on a different layer, you cannot pull a key on these little skinny lines. You need a nice solid outline.
Television video is made up of horizontal scan lines.
When you have an interlaced image like this, you can't manipulate it because those field lines are one scan line tall. And if you try to rotate it or scale it, the lines start to blend together and you get a mishmash.
Mr. Wright is claiming that because the scan lines of the airplane align perfectly with the scan lines of the tower, this proves it could not have been a composite. By this logic, we better watch out for real live dinosaurs. The scan lines of the dinosaur align perfectly with the woman's head. Does this mean it's a real dinosaur? Notice that on Gamma Press and Now Day, Pinocchio's nose casts a very dark shadow across the face of the tower. But look at Chopper 5. There's no shadow because it's a live composite and the nose was never supposed to pop out like this. The Chopper 5 sequence was never replayed and has never appeared in any of the government documentaries. They took it and flushed it down the memory hole. While the Chopper 5 was a live video composite with mistakes in it, there were also mistakes made in the edited videos that came later. The clearest image of United Flight 175 going into the South Tower was allegedly shot by amateur Michael Hezarkhani and obtained by CNN. The Hezarkhani footage has come to be known as Ghost Plane, and for good reason. The plane appears to pass through steel columns and the steel and concrete floors, like a ghost. It doesn't twist, bend, slow down, break, or explode. We never see any damage occur to the airplane. After an edit, we see a big airplane-shaped hole. We don't know how much time is missing in this edit, and we never see the hole forming. This one image gives the game away. The right wing of the plane has passed beyond the wall, yet no damage has occurred. We know there's plenty enough picture quality to see the big gaping hole if it were there because of this later shot. This is taken with the same camera, same zoom, and we easily see the big dark hole. What is Mr. Wright's explanation for this?
The hole got larger because the explosion blew the hole larger than the airplane's entrance. The explosion has blown out big chunks, so the hole got larger.
Mr. Wright is complimented for his creativity, but his explanation probes the far outer limits of absurdity. He's claiming that a kerosene explosion can cut steel. Explosives that really can cut steel do so by moving air very fast, from 10,000 to 30,000 feet per second. The fireball is moving air no more than around 100 feet per second tops. The idea of cutting steel with kerosene is ridiculous.
That's a kerosene explosion which has almost no destructive power.
Well, that's the statement of a musician.
If you believe that Steve is right, well then you must believe in live dinosaurs. Yeah, and if you feel like Stephen Wright, then you love, love, love the endless war. Yeah.
Well, that's the statement of a musician.
It's like being in the fourth dimension.
Evan Fairbanks shot some very famous footage and appeared on ABC News the night of 9/11.
Watch how the aircraft penetrates the building. Go ahead. Completely in one side and out the other.
It just disappeared. It disappeared like a bad special effect.
The airplane did disappear like a bad special effect. Exactly like a bad special effect. The plane doesn't break, twist, bend, crumple, explode, or even slow down. The building explodes from within, long after the plane appears to go in.
A good special effect would have parts exploding and bouncing off and tumbling to the streets below. I'm not sure it's even possible. I certainly can't animate a realistic airplane crash, but I can do one that's as good as Hezarkhani.
The result is footage that's every bit as convincing as the original ghost plane footage, which is to say, not completely convincing. In both shots, we don't see any parts of the airplane breaking or bending or twisting.
Another thing that was bad about the special effect in Fairbanks is a blatant contradiction with the special effect in Hezarkhani. Here's Hezarkhani, and here's Fairbanks. In Hezarkhani, as the plane enters the tower, the engines turn into puffballs. We are to believe that these are the engines themselves, or building materials, or something. But whatever the puffballs are meant to represent, notice that they are clearly underneath the wings, as the engines were. Now, look at the Fairbanks video. The location of the wing entrance can easily be marked, and obviously the puffball is well above the left wing. The over-under puffball is irreconcilable with reality, but has an easy explanation in video compositing. The mask was in the wrong place. In this 3D model, two white spheres represent the location of the puffballs. With the mask in the correct location, the left wing appears to pass over the puffball. Changing only the mask, the left wing now appears to pass under the puffball. They didn't have time to do good special effects. They needed to create airplane composites from a number of different camera angles rather quickly. With a 3D model, the airplane flight can easily be rendered from any camera angle. There's footage of the tower exploding, but how does the compositor know exactly where in time to place the airplane? A little too early or late would cause a discrepancy with the different angles. How can all the airplane overlays be synchronized?
Have you ever wondered why they put a flash and a beep at the beginning of a show? Or why they use a clapperboard at the beginning of a scene?
Mark?
It's for synchronization. The audio and video events are very sudden, lasting only one frame, so they make for a precise time reference.
Mark?
The Twin Tower events each featured a bright flash right when the airplane nose appears to meet the tower. The flashes make a very handy marker for where to place the nose of the airplane in both time and space. On all of the prepared airplane layers, there is designated a particular frame to be the one where the plane impacts the tower. In the editing software, the impact frame is moved to line up with the flash frame.
We've seen these images in movies and we know that it's all artificial and Hollywood makes it.
Notice that when they showed Fairbanks on ABC, there was no sound.
Go ahead.
In a speech to the New York Historical Society, Fairbanks blamed the FBI for removing the sound. However, in a later conversation with Jeff Hill, Fairbanks changed his story.
Well, I had accidentally turned off the microphone, like a operator error, because it was the first time that I had ever used that camera.
And when the Fairbanks footage appeared in the In Memoriam DVD, we heard this. Sound effects make visual effects more believable.
Just a few moments ago, you can hear around me.
The History Channel website offers more Evan Fairbanks footage, and they say it's unfiltered. It certainly appears to have sound on it. Brian! Speaking of sound effects, here's the Hezarkhani footage as it appeared on the DVD CNN America Remembers.
Oh my God, a plane just crashed into the building. I cannot believe it. Oh my God.
I suppose that's Michael Hezarkhani himself talking. Whoever it is sounds very close to the microphone. But here's the first time CNN aired the Hezarkhani footage, late on the evening of 9/11. We hear the same background screaming. But where's the guy saying, "Oh my God, I can't believe it, a plane flew in the building"? Seems like they added that to suggest we ignore the bad special effect and just think airplane.
The compositional characteristics. No plane in the wide shot. Unstable motion. Pinocchio's nose and its missing shadow. Blackouts and suspicious editing. The over-under puffball contradiction. Magically healing columns. The complete lack of crash physics. No wake vortex. Understanding video compositing, both its capabilities and its limitations, goes a long way towards solving 9/11. It's been proven a number of ways that the Twin Towers were blown to kingdom come. Still, official story supporters can fool some people by waving their hands and citing government reports. But all of the various attempts at a collapse theory begin by assuming plane crashes. No planes at the World Trade Center ends the argument. Still not convinced that the 9/11 airplane videos are fake? You want to prove me wrong? Great. Show me an original video of an airplane penetrating the South Tower. Let me make a high-quality copy and I'll pay you $100,000. The airplane videos that do exist all have reduced picture quality. And I think that's because reducing the quality is the best way to hide the messy fingerprints of the compositing process.
Because of the live videos, we can rule out not only planes, but any real flying object, like a missile. To cover up an incoming missile with a fake airplane would require a process called motion tracking. Software identifies the position of a particular pattern frame by frame. The same motion can then be applied to another object. Motion tracking works, but can generate errors that have to be corrected by hand. In 2001, motion tracking did not work in real time. Today, real-time motion tracking exists, but still is not nearly reliable enough to track an incoming missile. One small tracking error would cause the airplane image to jump or might reveal the missile underneath. There's no way the compositrators would even consider trying to cover up an incoming flying object in real time.
Hold on just a moment. We got an explosion inside.
The building's exploding right now. You got people running up the street.
I
did not see a plane go in. That just exploded.
I didn't see any airplane.
Did you see it? Yes, I saw it. It just blew up. A big explosion.
And everything I saw told me it was bombs in the building.
And then the South Tower just exploded.
The second building went off.
It just blew up.
No second plane. It was a bomb. Bombed in another building, not second plane.
I was underneath it. I was looking at the tower. I had my camera in my hand. I heard the noise. I never saw the airplane.
That was a bomb. Who said the second plane?
I never saw the airplane.
That's what we're told. The second plane. We saw it on television.
I never saw the airplane.
I did not see a plane.
I didn't see any airplane.
It blew up.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a plane. I learned that from the news media.
And we saw it on television. And we saw it on television. And we saw it on television.
We know for certain that the towers were disintegrated with powerful explosives, that Building 7 was brought down in a classic controlled demolition, that to start the day off, the media inserted fake airplanes into video and called it news.
Oh my goodness. Oh God. There's another one.
Completely in one side and out the other.
It just disappeared. It disappeared like a bad special effect.
This much is now proven. Many 9/11 mysteries have been solved, but perplexing human questions remain.
Since there is such indisputable evidence, how did the perpetrators get away with this? Why do most people support the official story? And even within the 9/11 truth movement, why is there such venomous conflict? Discussion of the airplane hoax is forbidden on almost all 9/11 truth sites. Why? Why is the truth movement such a catastrophic failure?
Encouraging. I believe that we're beginning to appreciate that it's in our interest that we should know the truth. That is traumatic. And as I was reflecting on your plane, it occurred to me a final thought in relation to why the American people have been reluctant to encounter these issues, which is actually, at least mildly encouraging. I believe that